welcome to another episode of Shirley Says. I'm Shirley, I'm your host, and today I am joined by the absolutely delightful Kelly Houston, who is the founder of Club Synergy, and that is an active coaching and networking group. Did I say that right, Kelly? You've got this little team going?
Yeah, pretty much. We've got a community of people who are developing themselves and their business by on the move, basically through exercise, through getting involved in moving, whether that's walking or running or jogging, movement in some way, workouts. We're just using the endorphin high created by that activity and exercise and applying it to making somebody feel better about themselves and their business.
I just love it. I just love it. I've been doing it now with you for, when did we start? Was it maybe March, beginning of March, end of February, something like that?
February, I think, wasn't it? It was before lockdown anyway.
It was before lockdown, and I always have this thing about I want to exercise, and I love exercise, but I get out of a routine and then it all just kind of goes to pot. I don't do anything. I'm very much an all or nothing girl. I think you know that. So yeah, don't say too much. I'm only kidding. So I know that everything that my fitness has definitely improved. Now I know you don't do it predominantly for getting people's. You're not there mainly as a fitness coach, are you? Am I right in saying? You're just doing it alongside fitness. You're more, what, life coaching, business coaching? What would you say?
Yeah, very, very much the case. Thanks, Shirley, for introducing in that way, because I think sometimes people get confused and think I'm a fitness coach. I'm absolutely not a fitness coach.
We just do fitness.
Exercise as the catalyst to work with people on themselves and their businesses. So it really, the benefit is around time saving. It's about you giving busy, harassed, frazzled business owners and mums and employees who are in stressful jobs that opportunity to find time to work on themselves and on the things that are barriers in life or in business for them. So we walk, we work out, we talk, we do whatever the person wants to engage with. Without any sort of advice on the physical fitness side of things. Yeah. We work on the business, on the person, and by default, you've undertaken your activity for the day. You've ticked those 10,000 steps off your to-do list that you don't even have to think about. It just happens by default.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I love about it now. I know you and I are currently not meeting up and going training, but hopefully one day we will. But actually, I never ever classed myself as a runner. But I really felt like I needed to do some cardio, get my fitness up. And pre-lockdown, I was working like 7 days a week. And it was like this, even trying to find that 1 hour that you and I met up on like a Friday morning was huge for me. Absolutely huge. And now that I've started it, I do a lot more. It's sort of snowballed into me going, do you know what? I'm really enjoying this. I see the benefits of it. And I loved our little chats. And I know a lot of my listeners know I have a beauty salon. I always tell people it's always plugging it. So, for me, it was all about the business. But I know you kind of do life coaching as well, don't you? Or is it just mainly business that you'd sort of deal with?
I focus on business, but very much focusing on the business owner. So for me, I think it's really, really difficult to separate out business from the business owner, and especially in small businesses.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I am a business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are then reflected into their business. So if you've got a harried, frazzled business owner, guess what? You get a harried, frazzled business.
It's so true.
It's about that time out with the business owner, getting their ducks in a row, working on their work-life balance or life-work balance in many, quite often supporting them to let go of some stuff to members of their team and get a bit of time back for themselves. And the snowball effect of that then is working on the business. The business is impacted by working with the business owner. So the sweet spot for me really is that small business owner, small team, not looking at somebody working necessarily in a multinational business, although I wouldn't say no. Be made where that owner's at that point of doing everything, wearing every hat, doing every role, and not really being in a position to go, I don't know, I don't know where to hand off some of this stuff. I don't feel as if I can hand off some of this stuff. And it's about giving that headspace and thinking time and using the dopamine spike that you get from that exercise to go, let's look at this in a different way.
Do you know, actually, that's exactly what I was about to say. I have known you for years now. I don't even know how many years. And the minute I met you, it was just like, hallelujah. Actually, I've got somebody who I can bounce ideas off and use as a sounding board, but also kind of maybe just go bleh. And sometimes in your head, as a small business owner, everything becomes incredibly overwhelming. And I mean, I don't think that ever really goes away. I mean, I've had it in lockdown because there's obviously, my business isn't reopened yet and things haven't started moving, but even just working out how I'm going to do it and what's the sort of practical parts of it, but also what sits well with me. And what it's sort of looking at every aspect, and you're really good at sort of asking me good questions where I go, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. And then suddenly a whole other thing comes into play. And actually, I just find that so beneficial, because sometimes when you're quite right, you've got all these hats, like I have to do marketing, website, advertising, social media, management, admin, team leader, and then you're still thinking, I need to go back in and just do my actual job that I love. I love being a beauty therapist. That's why I have a salon. But you forget that all those other hats that you've got to wear on a daily basis, that can probably be tougher than what you actually do as the job in the business. Like, being a beauty therapist to me is like breathing. Like I love products. I love my clients. I want to help everybody. That's so incredibly easy for me. But the other stuff that comes with it kind of bogs you down, doesn't it? It kind of, you just, every day.
I think most people go into business because they're really, really good at doing what they do, and they love doing what they do. And the other bits is a bit of a fright. Doesn't mean to say not good at them or can't do them, but the drive to go into business is to be a brilliant beautician, or to be a fantastic hairdresser, or to run a great sports shop, or to set up a business consultancy service because you're really, really good at supporting other people. And it's hard. It's hard when you start up to find your way through all of the other stuff that needs to be done to make your business successful and to grow it, if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to continue to just be that sole trader who's delivering something on their own. And I think that's where somebody to have a kind of sounding board and somebody to bounce ideas off. And I'm naturally nosy. I prefer to coach.
You're good at questions. You're very good at questions. It's something that I'm kind of the opposite of, because I like to ask nice questions for clients, but I don't want to be overly nosy. So you can be quite probing. Whereas I'm usually quite sort of like, well, tell me what you want to tell me. Like, that's where I'm coming from. I'm always like, don't tell me anything that you're not comfortable with. Only tell me things. Whereas you're like, right, okay, what's happening with that? And I think, oh, I wasn't expecting that. But I really need that, because if somebody didn't ask me the probing questions, I don't know if I would ask them. I wouldn't ask them of myself. So, and that's where you very kindly sent me a copy of your fabby, very lightweight book, which actually I was blown away by when it came through my door the other day, because stupidly, I, for some reason, didn't know that you even had a book. Sorry, Kelly. But tell me more about the book. What was the thought process behind it?
Okay, great question. Thank you.
That was one of my better questions.
I suppose it was about putting my money where my mouth is, and I very, very much believe and have experienced the impact of being active on your mental and physical well-being. But I wasn't necessarily aware of anywhere to kind of record that. I would come back from a walk, a run, full of ideas, and you think, oh, I need to speak to this person, I could do this, I could do that, and do the next thing. Wouldn't capture those ideas, and I'm a lady of a certain age at the moment, and quite often those ideas would disappear by the time.
Look, Kelly, it's the same with me.
Crops in, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if you could have a space where just when you got back from your run, you've got this movement in mind journal sitting, at the front door beside your gym bag, wherever it might be, and you capture the stuff the moment that you get in. I'm also a great believer in writing things down. I think technology is brilliant. I think apps are fantastic for capturing things, but for me, you can't beat the physical action of writing, and it feels much more like a commitment.
I would agree with that. There's something about writing things down. I don't know if I love a list, and I think the bulk of females out there will identify with a list. I got to have a list for the day, and see if it's not written down on a list. I can't remember it because there's almost too many things to do for my flat or for the salon or for the podcast or whatever is going on. And even if they're really tiny things, there's too many of them now. So I think a list is a brilliant thing, and I have to write everything down. If it doesn't, and I think it sits in my mind better, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's something to do with that kind of touch brain connection.
Yeah,
and that kind of basic connection of the act of writing just burns it more into
your brain. Yeah, I love that. I would write everything down if I had the time, and that's what I like about this, because it's easy, and I think the apps are great, but I never remember to do them, or I just kind of end up, it just goes by the wayside. But what I really liked about this was the fact, and I've said this to you before, and I don't mean it in a bad way, I love the simplicity of it. Because I've got a few morning journals, or 5 minute, I've got an 8-minute journal, I've got a 5-minute journal, and they're beautiful, Kelly. They're absolutely gorgeous. The books look gorgeous on my bookshelf. But after a couple of days, I go, oh, this is a bit of a chore. And it goes by the wayside. And the reason I like this was because I thought I could do this in literally a minute or two.
That's the intention. It's while it's still fresh, and it's a very visible reminder to do it. So if you've got it sitting somewhere that you see it the moment you come back in from your run or your cycle or your walk, or it's in your gym bag when you're getting changed at the gym, once we get back to the gym.
Yes, once the gyms reopen, which hopefully that'll be soon.
It becomes a kind of a habit cue, and the importance of habit cues, and it's easy to fill out. It gives you a record. It hopefully gives you some sort of sense of the level of hydration, for example. How hydrated I was before I went out, and did that have an impact on how much creativity I had during my session? Should I be thinking about bringing my water levels up a little bit more? Was it a good, or did I start out really, really not wanting to go over the threshold? I hate every minute of the first 10 strides, but actually I came back in absolutely buzzing.
That's me. And every time I'm like, oh. And then I get back and I'm like, why don't I do this more often? So it does it. It's sort of, I suppose it's that habit. It's getting, I'm all or nothing, as you know. And it's, for me, it's like, if I do something, even if I'm a bit like, can't really bother doing this, then even if I do 10 minutes, it's just something in my head that goes, you did that and that was really okay. It wasn't horrific. You didn't keel over and die. And then the next day you go, right, I'll do the same. And then once you kind of get into it, you just think, yeah, this is actually quite like this. But do you find that people are like that, where they just, is everybody all or nothing? Are we better doing something every single day? Or is that just because I have an addictive personality?
That's another great question, Shirley. And I'm a great believer in the power of habit and little habits and setting yourself kind of cues to help achieve those things. And there's lots of science and research out there that suggests that the more consistently and more frequently that we do something, the easier it becomes ingrained as part of our lives. I'm reading a book at the moment, which is not a new book by any means, but it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And his rationale is around the kind of the 2-minute start. So you know, if you've got a bigger goal, if there's something that you really want to achieve, but it seems almost unreachable. So say let's just give the example of running a half marathon.
Okay.
You don't do any running at the moment. There's absolutely nothing that you do, but you think, okay, I'm going to run a half marathon. And the thought of that is massive.
Yeah.
So he tracks it back to say, right, what can I do that will kind of take 2 minutes that I can start doing that will make me the kind of person who runs a half marathon? And he'll track it back to, well, I could aim for a 10K, I could aim for a 5K, I could aim to put on my trainers. And literally it's like that, right? I could put on my trainers. So,
and just walk about in your trainers, not go for a run, just literally put your trainers on. I love this.
So, and then that you build that desire to go, right, I've got my trainers on, so now, I'm restricting myself to 2 minutes in my trainers. I don't want to restrict myself to 2 minutes in my trainers. I want to go out and use them.
Yeah.
So it's building that,
I love that.
And that positive cues. So I think if you can find something like that kind of visual cue, something to hang in what calls habit stacking, and
right.
stack habits
It's like,
on.
yeah, it's actually, it makes total sense now you're saying it. And actually, I was saying this to you earlier, that it's like, I'm really tough on myself. I have really, like, you should be doing this. I can be quite, I say all the positive things to other people. And then in my own head, I go, right, hold on, you should have done X, Y, and Z today, or you should have worked out for an hour every single day, or whatever it is. And actually, the nicer I am to myself, and I just go, look, maybe do 10 minutes. And let's just try do 10 minutes. And let's just do it in the house. Let's not even go outside. Because sometimes if the weather's not good, I'm like, I don't want to mess up the hair. Do you know what I mean? So it's not going to happen, Kelly. So then I do 10 minutes. And 9 times out of 10, I do more than 10 minutes. Now, I might only do an extra 5 or an extra 2 or 3 minutes. But I do find myself going, yeah, I'll do a wee extra, because actually once I do it, I start enjoying it. But for me, it's being a bit, I don't want to say kinder to myself, but it is, it's like taking the pressure off this massive thing. And then if I say to myself, I'm going to work out for an hour, chances are I won't work out at all. I just don't do it. I end up just going, I'll just stay in my bed. It's fine. I've now not got an hour. I'm not going to do it at all. And I think there must be other people out there that do the same. There must be.
Oh yeah, lots and lots and lots. And that's really behind the active coaching, is you're out and you're active without even really thinking about it.
Yeah. Yes.
You're investing in something that is about you and your business, and the fitness side of things is secondary, but you're doing it.
Do you know, that's so true, because it's funny, as a business owner, and this is going to sound terrible, and I've kind of reined in over lockdown. Before lockdown, if somebody had said to me, you could just go to the gym for an hour on a Friday morning, I wouldn't, I hate to say this, have seen the value in it, because I was so focused on the business that everything was for the business. But because I could go with you and do coaching for me and the business, I got to do a run as well. So for me, I was like, tick, 2 birds with 1 stone, done. I felt really, really good after it. But since then, and especially when lockdown kicked in, I started doing it on my own. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do some squats and I'll do some weights or I'll do some kettlebells. And I, by the way, have the ability to do this because I've always exercised, and I'd always exercised more before I had the business. Actually, now I see the value in it. And now, as you've quite rightly said, when you've got a small business, you are your business. So if you're well rested, you're in a good headspace, you're like, feel like you're in control and you're on top of it, of your own life, then you will find that's the case with the business. If I was in a bit of a all over the place, then I would actually end up, probably without realizing it, doing that when I was in the salon. And then my team were maybe going, oh, what's going on with Shirley? So now I see the benefit of me exercising and still coaching with you, but doing more on my own. So it's kind of snowballed it a bit.
I think my job here is done.
It's not really, Kelly. This is a never-ending job. You're never allowed to leave me. Nice try, though. You tried to ditch me a while ago. No, I'm only kidding. I was like, no way. You don't realize this is not happening.
So you that feedback from you, and that kind of recognition about how important it is to have that time for you, and to keep your wellness at front of mind. And I don't just mean mental wellness, physical wellness in that instance. It's that kind of mental headspace that taking some time out gives you as well.
Yeah, the mental, for me, exercising, it's interesting, isn't it? I'm a big fan of a coach. Everybody that listens to me knows I had a life coach. I've got Kelly as my business coach. I actually get hypnotized. I love coaching. And a lot of people will ask me, why do you do so much coaching? And for me, if you own a body, which we all do, we're responsible for looking after it and taking care of it, because it will malfunction at some point, hopefully not too much, but I feel like it's our responsibility to sort of take care of our bodies, look after them. My mum always used to say, you only get one, just look after it. And I think, yeah, absolutely. And I love eating veg, and I see that as part of like my little taking care of myself. But a lot of people don't feel the same about a brain for some reason. Well, I think a brain is just a big giant muscle, isn't it? And really, you only get one. So my mum was right. You only got one body, but you only get one brain. And also we really have, if you own a brain, then the ability for it to malfunction is pretty high. And I've had mental health issues in the past. I mean, I'm very open about that. I had anorexia when I was younger, and I didn't recognize, I was too young to sort of understand that it was a mental health issue. It was a control thing for me. I'm going to not eat because everything else is out of control. And now I'm going to literally, I can control this one thing. But actually, it is our responsibility to sort of work on it. And for me, coaching is almost like the equivalent of like working out for the body. So whether you go to the gym or you just go for runs, or you do a workout in the house, like I used to love like Mr. Motivator, and I always had loads of fitness videos and DVDs. Oh, I loved all that because I like doing something every single day. But I think for the brain, maybe do people kind of almost feel like it sort of doesn't need looking after? I don't know. It doesn't need worked out.
I think maybe that used to be the case. I think the tide is very, very much turning, and I think a lot of people are much more aware about the importance of looking after the brain and recognizing that you need to invest in your mental well-being as well. You know, as you've said, and whether that's through coaching or whether it's just taking time out for you, whether it's spending time with friends, whatever it is that allows you to have that space and feel well, I think is really important. I think never more important than at this particular time where we've been, you know, in isolation and finding it difficult to connect with others. And I think that, you know, the prevalence of mental health issues is massive just now. It's never
It is,
more
isn't
important.
it? Yeah. I think it's almost amplified the situation, hasn't it? Mental health has been has been an issue, and I think you're right. People are sort of taking it more seriously, and you know, we need to, as you say, do something, even if it's like listening to a Headspace app or a podcast. I always think doesn't need to be this podcast, but a podcast where you sort of hear like-minded chat or things that you would like enjoy listening to, especially if you've not got the ability to connect with your friends or physically see them. At least you can hear something that maybe makes you laugh. Like, I listen to a lot of funny things. I love anything that's funny. I love comedy movies, anything that just, I sort of feel like something so nice about having a chuckle. It just makes the rest of my day, it feels like more light-hearted. And there's a lot of seriousness in the world and the news. And on the flip side, I try and limit the amount of stuff that I'm listening to that's negative, or I feel that I can't change it or I can't control it. And I want to spend more time outside or running or exercising or listening to podcasts where I'm going, oh, that's really interesting, I've learned something. Or it's just funny, it's just downright funny. Something positive, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that, you know, you were mentioning there about the things you can control, and I think that's a really, really important point. Is, you know, it's trying to work with what is in your area of responsibility, and by responsibility I mean responsibility, the things that you have the ability to respond to, which quite often is more than you anticipate at the time. So it's focusing on that and forgetting, it's perhaps too glib a way of saying it, but forgetting about the stuff that you don't have control over.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, and I'm not a mental health practitioner and would never ever claim to be, but it's like,
No.
what can you do in that circle of responsibility that you know will make you feel better, that will help to kind of release the, you know, the chemicals in the brain that will allow you to have that kind of flow of happiness, contentedness, whatever it might be. And that, you say, might, for some of us might be exercise, for some others it might be about that kind of laughter, and both of those things release dopamine, serotonin, you know, into the body, that then make us feel better. So it's not as easy, it's absolutely not as easy a solution as do this, you'll feel better. It's not. There
Yeah.
are many
But
things.
it can just be little things. And I think that's the thing. Yes, it's not as easy as saying specifically this one thing, but it's interesting. Like, I love plants. I've got this thing about plants and nature. And I didn't really realize I had it until I started working so much that I spent less time out dog walking. I spent less time out in nature. And when lockdown happens, I sort of went back out into nature and had so much time in my hands. I thought, I'm going to go out every day and do an hour's walk at the beginning of lockdown, when we were sort of had to have our time slots and all this kind of stuff. And actually, it wasn't until then I thought, oh, I've really missed this. This is actually something that I need for me to feel a bit, I don't like using the word happier because that doesn't sound right, but I just feel, oh, I needed that. I feel better for it. And I think now I can go, right, I need to exercise, or I need to spend time outdoors. And on the days that I don't go outside, or don't have like that daily walk, I feel the difference. You can feel like, oh, I feel a bit flat. I mean, I'm not saying I feel depressed or anything. I'm just saying, just feel a bit flat. Maybe I'm needing to get out and stretch my legs or get some fresh air or whatever it is. But I think everybody will find their wee thing.
Yeah.
Whether it's like phoning their pal and just having a laugh, or getting some chat, or I don't know, patting your dog. I mean, I'm never going to feel worse for that. Yeah, we're never going to feel like that was a waste of time. That was. It's never going to happen. But it's never going to happen. But do you know, Kelly, thank you so much for hanging out with me and just sharing the wealth of knowledge and asking me ridiculously good questions. I'm definitely going to read this book, Atomic Habits. I love a book recommendation. I'll put that on the book club. And tell me, if anybody wants to follow you or get your book or just hear more about what Club Synergy is all about, how would they do this?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. It's been an absolute joy. I was a wee bit nervous about the whole podcast thing, but
why? It's just chatting to me.
Exactly. You've made it really easy. It is just like chatting to you.
It's exactly the same.
So,
I don't have another side to me, Kelly. I couldn't be bothered. This is it all the time. It's probably a bit annoying, actually.
Never, don't change.
No, I can't be bothered now.
So if you'd like to connect with me, then you can email on connect@clubsynergy.co.uk.
Brilliant.
Phone number is 07974 959 661. Or if you would prefer to just have a poke about the website and find out for yourself, you can find out more at www.clubsynergy.co.uk. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm there on Facebook. I'm there on Instagram. On Club Synergy. I get everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say this. This is so funny because this is what I feel like. You kind of want to cover every platform, and actually, I know you're really big in LinkedIn. And I'm not. I get a bit lazy with LinkedIn, to be honest, just because I don't know. I feel like there's so many, but you do some great posts on LinkedIn when I do click on and I go, oh, what's Kelly put on? So yes, we'll follow you, and we'll put a wee link at the bottom of the podcast for your website. We'll do that, and in that way, if anybody wants to click on it, they can find you really easily. So have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me, Kelly. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of Shirley Says. Please, please, please review me. Go on to iTunes and leave a review. Listen to me on Spotify and YouTube. And if you would like to share me with your friends, that would be fantastic. And hopefully I will see you all very, very soon. Okay, take care. Bye.